Hey guys, this is a roly-poly special, a persuasion technique that, as far as I know, you can only learn from me. And you could probably learn it somewhere else, I guess, but nobody else is going to label it this way and help you see it the way I do. Because, unfortunately, I think most people are kind of like blind to this a little bit, but I've been doing it for something like 10 years, maybe 12. I noticed myself first doing it in philosophy class when people would state something that's like profoundly limited, and I'd be like, "Are you sure? Are you sure about that?" But anyway, so we all know that the mind works with beliefs, but it also works with categories. Categories are like a subset of beliefs, because once you believe a category exists, that is a belief, right? So I think a lot of us would recognize that Myers-Briggs and the Big Five personality tests are basically just widely accepted forms of belief systems. And so once you believe someone is, say, highly agreeable or highly disagreeable, you might start having your perceptions of their behavior start to fit in to that perception, to that belief. Because if you identify someone as hyper agreeable or hyper disagreeable, suddenly everything they do is going to be through that perspective, through that lens. But the thing is, people are very broad, very expansive. And the world is very broad and very expansive. There's not many things that fit neatly into a category. So what you do is you find someone who says, "Oh yeah, this person is a such and such." Sorry, I'm checking if the X is big enough. Let's make it bigger. A such and such. And this can be whatever label you want. Whatever label you want. And you say to them, well, what you do is essentially you try to introduce nuance. Because what nuance does is it brings them in a commitment kind of way from something like this. It's like they see the world as a simplified Platonic form, meaning like perfect. And what you do by adding the nuance is you add something like this, a little detail, and suddenly you can see more of what's really going on. And then you say, well, okay, what else is there about this thing that you perceive? Can be a person, can be an event. Sorry, I gotta get my fingers lined up with the frame. Can be a person, can be an event, a story, a political philosophy, whatever. You say, what else is going on here that you haven't included? Oh, well, you're aware of this, right? Okay, we can add that. And you lead them, and you say, you pace and lead and do your thing, but eventually you get them to reveal more and more of what they can see about what they can see when you draw their attention to it properly, and you get them to expand their mind. That's why I'm calling this a bit of like an opener, a widener, something like that, because that's what it does. In my view, it widens the frame, and you reveal that it wasn't this plain object before. In fact, it's a flower. How about that? A flower. Is that a good drawing? Anyway, I'm trying to think, like, right now, just like on the fly, some use cases of this. The reason I thought of it is because Whooper said he noticed some like real psychopath, and I was like, the thing with me for me is, how do you ever know something like that? Like, there's I don't know. You can't read people's internal thoughts. Like I had this employer, this Russian guy, and he just looked real untrustworthy. He just looked real untrustworthy. Like something about him. But one day I saw him, or I overheard him. Actually, no, he was talking to me. In fact, he spoke disapprovingly of one of our coworkers because this coworker had done something very shady, and basically lied to a customer. And we could all tell because the loan that he had signed this customer up for, the paper was folded in half, so the customer couldn't see the APR, the interest. And I was like, huh, that does not fit my bias at all. I thought this guy was not that ethical, but that's a very I don't know if, well, it doesn't set the bar particularly high, but at least disapproving of something like lying to a customer about a loan agreement, you know. So you see my point. But the thing is, all right, hang on. I gotta erase this all. We're mostly interested here, I think, in getting people to change their views and change their behaviors. I know that's like saying that English uses words, but so say if someone has a political view or political perspective. Sorry, I'm checking if that's legible, and it's not, but forgive me. Let's say someone is a diehard Democrat, and just because they're a Democrat, and yeah, we're gonna do the category thing, but you know, categories exist for a reason. You can just assume that this person is like empathetic, they are compassionate, or they think they are, and they're really convinced that they are. Maybe they're not really. Who knows? But anyway, we can get them to commit to values like, oh yeah, I really like that the Democrat Party cares about such and such. And then what you do is, well, why isn't it that you like, or why is it that you don't like the Republicans? And they say, well, they don't support that thing I just mentioned. And you say, have you noticed how such and such that the Republicans do actually supports that indirectly? You know, that's one way that you could, for example, use this to widen their frame on what the Republicans do as a party. This one, actually, no, it's a little bit off topic. But anyway, politically, you can use this. Behaviorally, you can use this. So you might have someone who says, I'm thinking in terms of lifting here lately. Okay, that one's better, legibility-wise. So someone might say, yeah, I like to watch TV because it's relaxing. And going to the gym, it's not relaxing, it's painful. You might say, well, is all of the gym painful? What parts are the painful parts? And they say, well, you know, you got to push real hard at the top of the rep or at the final rep, and you get them to say, well, what is it about the rest of the gym that's painful? And they say, well, I guess it's not really that painful. And there you go. You've widened their frame, and you get them to focus in on that. The parts that are sort of relaxing, you know, it's meditative. It can be meditative to go to the gym and look at your routine and be like, this is what I'm going to do today. And you don't need to bring anything with you. You can describe it to them that way if you want, you know, hypothetically. And just the point is to get them from something like this, a worldview that's like this, quite narrow, and just, bring that side of the frame out here. and bring that side of the frame out here. And all of a sudden, they're not just seeing this part, but you can also get them to see this part over here, and this part over here. And I'm telling you, you're gonna experience some cognitive dissonance on the way, because if you do it too quick, it's gonna be like, well, hang on, I have to go reorganize my entire sense of self to fit this in. But anyway, that's for another lesson. I hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned something. Go out, and the next time you see somebody state a description of the world, could be about a person, event, that kind of thing. Have a look at what they say, if it's in text, or listen real close as they're speaking, and try to see the borders of their perceptions. It doesn't always work, because I'm pretty sure I've had situations where people say like, oh yeah, well, of course, the people who are like this also do that. Or the people who are like this also have these qualities, but we're focusing on that. But anyway, you can occasionally get someone to straight up deny, like, no, none of them have those qualities. And it's like, are you kidding? You're talking about 10 million people, and you think that of 10 million people, none of them have this quality? Anyway, go have fun with it. You'll see for yourself. Ciao.